Welcome to Tech and Heels with our host, Rita.
Hello, Isabel. Welcome to Tech and Heels. I'm so happy you have accepted the invitation. Tell me a little bit about what's your professional path and also what's your projects that you want to share with us.
Okay, so thank you for being here. And I think it's a very nice project that you have with Tech in Hills. And I'm very honored to be part of your project as well. Basically, I've been working in design since ever. It was actually a chance from life because I wanted something between art, psychology, and then I entered in design, and then I explored all the design thinking for multiple types of design. Back then, it was like an old design process. So it could be graphic, communication, events, and also industrial, web design, and so on and so forth. But then I started evolving also always to the more digital side of things. We are speaking about the early 2000s, and my grandparents used to have like a tourism house, and I was super excited to build their websites, like to present to all the tourists from all over the world. So I guess that was my excitement to start in the tech side of the design. And early on, I always kept on evolving in the more digital side of design. Then I became like a digital designer. Then I came to Lisbon. I grew up in Braga. I came to Lisbon like looking after the big companies and all this more global mindset and so on. And then at some point, I started playing with data connected to the designs that I was doing, like with landing pages, email marketings, and we started doing A/B testing, still very quantitative data. And that was the moment I started looking more about qualitative data, like besides the numbers, can we know why people like more of this or that? And that's how I entered in UX. That's how I founded the local chapter of Ladies at UX in Lisbon back then, because I wanted, okay, I really want to do more of this. I need to know people that are already doing it in their day-to-day. Back then, if you would search for UX on LinkedIn, it was like 1, 2, 3 people maybe in Lisbon.
You are the founder of Ladies at UX, the community in Lisbon that I'm also part of.
Yeah, 2014. It was a different mindset back then, but also an amazing journey. And I met a lot of amazing people with that journey. But then I also started my own homemade community of women. Now I'm also a mother of 4 girls. And so, yeah, we kind of doubled when we went to the third round. We doubled because it was twins, and nowadays they are 4. It can be a mini community as well sometimes to manage.
I'm still processing.
Sometimes it also takes me a while to process my day-to-day. But well, I'm one of those persons that are not well with not much to do, so I really need new ideas, new things, new projects. And I'm always like on a run to learn more, to evolve, to grow. Like I really like to feel that life is challenging me and that I'm taking the best out of life. I think it's very special for us to be alive. So I try to take the best out of it. Then I migrated into UX. With UX, I became like in these cross-functional teams, a product team. I became a product designer. As a product designer, I started facilitating the design sprints from Google Ventures in terms of innovating and bringing the team aligned into something new that was about to born. Back then, it was 2018, and we were already building the first AI product, which was very interesting. But with that, I fell in love with facilitation. And I said like, oh, I don't want to be a designer no longer. I want to facilitate more and more. And I want to do workshops that people really feel part of the solution together. It's not theirs idea or our idea. It's all together. And it gave me like a huge aha moment in my career. And that's what pushed me into a new role in a big corporate. Back then I was in a startup, and then I went into a corporate to work as a transformation coach, like bringing the UX and design thinking coach for the transformation team, and then transforming the whole company and facilitating a lot of workshops and doing also a bit of organizational design, like looking into the company as if it would be a product we were presenting like where were the gaps that could be improved, also bringing the new ways of working. And one of those suggestions that we did as a new improvement would be to have more design atoms embedded in cross-functional teams and start building these cross-functional teams more accountable, owning the experience of the app, owning the experience of the website, owning the different products that we had internally. And back then, it was a moment where I shifted from a designer, facilitator slash coach into management. So they said, yeah, we agree. Now we need to start hiring designers, but we need someone to manage those designers. And we think that you would be the best person for that. And I was like, because I was always running away from management. and I'm a designer at heart, like, so I'm not a manager, right? So I'm still in my learning curve, because in the balance, I'm still more a designer than a manager, I would say. But also more and more, that's what I believe. But well, then I started. Then I was already tired of the corporate environment. We scaled the team. The team was functioning, so I was also feeling that even if I would not be there, it would be in cruise mode, so it would be okay. And so I embraced a new challenge where I am right now in my full-time job at a scale-up. So not a startup, not a corporate, but a scale-up in the data privacy world. So a very interesting space to have an impact in tech. But besides that, I also have like my personal projects. And I think your podcast, it's more about the personal projects than my core function.
I'm very, very curious about your projects.
I always say that I'm in this midlife crisis. It's because I've been working in tech since I started working. But lately, it starts to feel small, because my drive is to always have like a positive impact in people, in the world, and whatever I'm doing. And I really believe in the power of design thinking, the processes, the human-centered design core to have a positive impact and to bring collaboration, co-creation, visualization, prototyping, experimentation, validation, and then decisions and so on. But right now, this midlife crisis, it's also leaning me towards like a space of using the same design techniques and processes and tools that I've been doing with multiple people from different spaces of the world, different languages, different cultures, different backgrounds. But now, instead of doing the tech transformation or the tech innovation, doing the human transformation and the human innovation. So I've always been passionate about helping people and doing mentorship, as you know. Actually, I never say no to a coffee, to a lunch, to help someone that is like trying to get a better sense of their own future, to discuss it and kind of prototype it through words and thinking and challenging the perspective, because that's also what design thinking does, right? You get a different set of people with different perspectives, and you open a little bit the thinking to then close it. And that's the value I see from mentorship, and that's what I'm still doing every time I'm mentoring people. Is if you are seeing this, I will open before we close the options. And I think that's really important. But in regards of how am I applying this to myself, so right now I'm also playing a lot with AI. That's undeniable, but also gets me a little bit tired, like, oh, this AI hype and all this craziness around everywhere. But actually, based with these explorations, I also built like a new platform of something that I've been cooking for the last years. So besides all this psychology applied to tech and interfaces and so on, I'm a huge fan and explorer of human development in general. And so besides psychologists and psychotherapists and psychiatrists, and I've also explored like Reiki, breath work, family constellations, hypnotherapy, acupuncture, all the things that, maybe not all, but I've been exploring a few, and I know that there are still a few to explore. And what I notice is that I'm more open to test new things than the random human. But then sometimes I offer this to my friends and family, like, okay, you don't trust this, you don't understand this, just go and try it for yourself. And then you'll let me know, what did you felt? How was it? Did you enjoy it, and did it had an impact? And sometimes when it normally it always have an impact, and then I say like, so it's amazing you did this session and already happened this, and oh no, it's a coincidence. Like it was everything blocked for years, and suddenly, pook, 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 pook. Oh, it's a coincidence. But I really believe that we have space to grow as humans if we start exploring ourselves as a more complete, holistic being. Like we don't have only the rational and the physical. We have the emotions that actually connect a lot. This through it's almost like Braga Lisboa. So Braga, the rational, Lisboa, like the physical, and then you need a highway, which is the emotions that are crossing these messages in both systems. And all around you have the stars and the sky, and it's the energetic and spiritual. So we always have like these four layers. But in the like in this more conservative approach, the Western culture, we are very like mental, physical. We do the exams,
we like
do the
proof that we can touch, that we can
yeah,
believe.
it's data points. And finally, we have documentaries like Beyond the Brain that was passing on RTP, the main Portuguese channel, really exploring and sharing scientific data points of there is some things beyond the brain. So are more energetic, more unvisual, and less mapped by our traditional medicine. So I founded the United Healers. The United Healers, it's like a platform online that is basically built with Cloud Code and with a lot of iterations. And I'm still in the first MVP of the thing. The first step is to bring together the healers, the therapists, all these alternative ways. And then I want to bring the people that might be slightly open or slightly tired of going to the doctor and saying, the exams look great, everything looks great, but you know what? You feel like shit. But I don't have something to solve. Oh, maybe I have some pills here, take some pills. And then you are taking a lot of pills and it's still not working. So maybe I do believe not in substituting the main medicine, but as complementing the main medicine and doing some energetic work, making some breath work, making some qigong, a lot of things that we should be exploring and we are not. But the goal for the United Healers is when we bring these people looking into a more holistic way, to have confidence in the healers that they are looking for and to know which ones are more appropriate to their stage of life. I want to bring this AI agents supporting you. Okay, what are you going through? What do you want to achieve? And what's the level of confidence you have in trying new things? For instance, this is a very minimal interaction that I want to bring, and based on that it can start curating the list of therapists that you have available. But that's one of the side projects that I have that I would really
Very
like
interesting. I
to
think you
bring
should apply like a politic strategy. So for people that agree and people that are sick of it, to just bring them to your platform and you'll have all the things that you need.
we'll need to do it in step by step, like everything in my life. To be able to do a lot of things, you need to really be calm
But
and put it in a plan.
yeah, I see that you did a lot of things and you are doing a lot of things and you want to do in the future a lot of things. So when I say a lot of things, that you have a lot of projects. Many people talk to me and tell me about projects that you did. They always tell me about things that you did. So you are a very busy person. However, you have, in my opinion, only able to achieve that because of your way of thinking. Like, let's do this by steps. Because when people try to do, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, and then they just get overwhelmed and they don't do anything and they're not never an entrepreneur, you know?
Working in tech has been teaching me, right? Like if you work in tech, you work in agile, you slice the elephant, you need to break it into sprints, you need to break it into specific goals and milestones.
What's interesting that I also changed to me a lot when I entered tech, you have to release the products or work with the projects while they are growing. So this kind of change the things that you say, oh, I'm going to this job for all my life, I'm going to do this for all my life. But then it's like, no, you are growing, so you can do this now and see how it goes and then change it. And I think tech kind of teaches people that work there that, okay, we can go ahead and just launch it like my MVP, and then we'll see what's going to be the next step. And if it's completely different, we're going to change it, and that's okay. And that's okay.
For me, it was really interesting when I joined the corporate world and suddenly we were speaking about the growth mindsets. And it was like, oh, but is this a thing? Like, are there people that don't have like the growth mindset? Like, shouldn't this be normal for all of us? Like, to keep on evolving and for everything we do, not believing that it's something very frozen. Like, nothing is frozen, everything is flowing, everything should be rivers, like growing and evolving into the biggest ocean, right?
It's like in the army, you have the soldiers there, you give the orders, and they're supposed to do that and not get out of the box because that's what they're good at and that's what I want to do. But if someone wants to be a general, they have to change that. They have to think differently. They have to evolve. And not everybody is a general, unfortunately, which I think who is a general thinks is so strange to be only a soldier.
Maybe we need a little bit of everything. One of the things I've been exploring was also like the human design, that it's a mix of astrology and the Kabbalah and a lot of things mixed up. And they only have like 4 different types of people. And the biggest majority is this generalist, like 60%, 70%. But then you have like all these little different types that are very specific. And it's very beautiful to look into the world and see, okay, I don't really believe in God, but I do believe in a system because this is so perfect that it's impossible to not be a part of something bigger. And it's very beautiful to see like we need these different types in different ratios. It's just like a recipe. Like if you are baking a cake, like you need the flour, you need the eggs, and it's all different types, but in the end it's all very complementary to each other.
Besides the project of United Healers, is still not launched, right? And you're still going to launch it.
So it's still launched, but in a very soft launch. So I didn't start the social media and advertising
Okay.
and so on. I just unleashed it like to my personal network, and I already have like 12 healers registered in the listing. So
Thanks.
it's progress, but it's really in the first month of being born. And the way I'm using it is using something that I believe it's meaningful and can have an impact, to have like a playground for myself of something that excites me, to play with Cloud Code and all the AI hype. Like I'm using it as my AI playground of, now I'm trying the automation for social media and creating all the images and creating all the communications automatically. So I have like a space I can do an end-to-end playground, let's call it like this, because what I'm doing in my core job, it's also managing the end-to-end design and user experience. So actually I need to pass by the transformation myself and the easiest way is to own like an easy manageable playground project. But besides that, I also have a podcast.
Okay. My first guest that also has a podcast. This is so interesting. What is it called, the name?
So the translation, it's life happens, and in Portuguese is a vida acontece, and it is a Portuguese podcast. I'm doing it, actually we started when the twins were born. So I used to go to one of my cousins' house. We are 3 cousins, three girls, 3 women, 3 mothers, and we are just discussing about life, human development, new tools to know ourselves and to explore the self-awareness, and also like alternative therapists and so on. We do have some guests sometimes we are just laughing and thinking on life together. So give it a shot. We have 3 years of podcasts actually, so we already have a few available on Spotify and so on. But
Nice.
basically it's also a space to again try something new, give some thinking space. Like I have very busy weeks. I think we all do nowadays, but it's amazing like how everything is possible. Right? Imagine right now we are struggling to keep one episode per month, And when we started with two twins, newborns, and then a job, and then everything, when I
I
went,
do one episode per month, okay?
we started with
So,
one episode per week, and it was possible. And even after coming back to to work in real life, I always had like this slot that it was safeguarded, 1 hour lunchtime, 1 day per week. I don't eat a proper lunch, and I do podcasting, and it's possible once again. But
yeah, it
right
is.
now we decided to decrease it and so on, also because we were running out of topics, right? But for instance, it's much harder now to manage like a one episode per month because it's not locked in the calendar than it was before. Because before it was always the same day, every week at the same hour, and so it's locked. It's sacred.
No, I understand. It's much better when you have everything, um,
Yeah, if
you
it's
know,
always it's an habit. The more
yeah.
the habit comes, the easier, I would say. But yeah, that's also a little bit of my personal exploration, a little bit less in tech and more in the thinking space.
And
And I think
besides
that
besides the podcast, what do you have more? So you have created Ladies at UX community. You
I'm
already
just
kind of passed the torch for other people there, and then you have, but you still go to a lot of events. You still participate, and you're always accept when you're invited to stuff. So let's say that still occupies you
yeah,
a
I'm
lot.
also a speaker, right? Like in a lot of events, and lately it has been flowing, and it's something that I've been appreciating. So that's also something that it's happening. And I also want to write a book. While
Okay,
we still have paper books, I would
I feel
love to
that.
have a paper book.
Yes, no, I agree. I feel that you are just a mind like it person like me. I also am a speaker and I want to write a book. I think it's important. We have a lot to say, and
Yeah,
the ideas don't need to be stuck here, right?
yeah.
So,
It's a lot
yeah, no,
about sharing and giving to the world. I think lately I've been feeling that calling, I would say. Well, I also am a Reiki therapist. I did the first and second level certification and just auto Reiki so far. I wanted to do like a more, again, a habit in a partnership with a hospital eventually, but I still didn't start it. I only did like the certification in December, so we are in March. But yes, so far still just slow practicing, but something that I want to grow more and more for sure. But
okay.
yeah,
So, but let's just recap. So you have the community part time, full job. In your full job, you are the design director, right?
yeah. So
Then
that's my full-time job, Monday to Friday, morning to afternoon.
Then
Sometimes
you have your four children, which I think is important to say. It's like a very,
they go
very
to
good job.
school, and I still have my husband as well. Be able to have a team, and we have all these layers like the individual, the couple, the family.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So you are a person that I think you accomplished a lot, but also because you have a good partner, right? You have a very supportive partner.
Very
Do you have
important.
something that you want to share about that?
I love you, João.
You know
No, I
what?
would say that it's very important to keep a balance, and that's not easy. That's not natural. It's something that we both push very consciously. Imagine I have a very busy life attending to events and so on and so forth. He also has it. Like right now, he's flying to Zurich, and sometimes it's me flying to Germany or whatever. Like 1 week is him, one other week is me, and other
Yeah.
weeks we are together. But I think it's very important to have a husband that really understands the importance of, at least for me, to keep my own independence living. And I also push a lot for his own independence living. And
Mm.
sometimes I go paddle, he goes paddle, and sometimes we go together. As couples, sometimes I think we enter in loops of blocking each other's freedom, but I think we are much stronger and happier together if we unleash, if we allow and enable space for each other space, and then our time together. This is only possible because we are here supporting each other. I think we are living a huge shift in that space. I know a lot of couples are still very old school,
Mhm.
but I would say that for me is not an option. For João is not an option. When I look
Mhm.
into my sisters and brothers, the same. Like we have a much more balanced responsibilities. And if you go like to the parents' day at school, when I was a kid, it was only mothers in the parents' day at school.
Okay.
Nowadays, you go to the parents' day at school, and it's the mother and the father, the mother and the father. It's
Nice.
very balanced. The still unbalanced part that we still have in the society, it's the maternity leave. And what
Mm,
some northern countries are doing, it's
yeah.
making sure that the father also goes out for 6 months together with the mother. But that
Mhm.
also has an impact in the economy, I would say. But it's the only thing that it would make a difference, because right now, like, business still have like this preconceived wrong perception that, oh, you are thinking of having kids, or are you a mother, so maybe you will not take your job very seriously. And actually, it's totally wrong. And but the same, it should be the same for father, for men. Like nowadays it's very balanced, like the ones who stay at home, today I stay, tomorrow you stay, today I stay, tomorrow. But like a few years ago, it was always the mother. Nowadays, the mother and the father both have important roles at work, so it needs to be balanced, so it should not be like that anymore.
I understand, and it's good to see someone that's young like you because I consider that you're a very young woman. But it doesn't look like it if someone sees what you did already. It thinks that you did so many things, it's impossible. You are so young.
So much more to be done, so
And that's great. There's a woman painter, I don't recall her name, that only started her career at 80. So you're good. You're
well,
good.
I still have hope, because when I was a kid, I used to say, what do you want to be when you grow up? A painter.
So tell me, what did you struggle more in all of this path of your projects and careers, like in a self development and mindset way?
I would say that what I struggled the most was with my inner demons, my evil voices inside of myself, but they were also the ones pushing me towards. I would say that the sooner we start psychotherapy, the better. Also, any kind of energy working, Qigong, yoga, I felt that I clicked much more into a bigger self when I started doing those kind of works. And I would say trying to embrace a more positive mindset, because I also have negative days. I also have like, I feel bad and I'm not even sure why. And then be conscious of that and use the tools that we have. Get from the dark side to the light side of life.
There was one time in my life that I was very low. And one thing that I did, I love those reels and stuff that show part of a speech of someone or an
Mm-hmm.
interview, and they are very inspiring. Put that in a long movie. And I listened that in the morning where I did some stretches. And I did that
Yeah.
like for, I don't know, 2 weeks or three, I don't remember anymore. It changed a lot. It's like Inception.
But there are so many like little tools that are not that hard to implement, and it can have a huge impact.
But besides that, you have any advice that you want to leave here to the listeners?
Believe that it's always possible, because that's the basic mindset rule. If you believe it won't be possible, it won't be possible. If you believe it will be possible, it will be possible. Even impossible will be possible. So
I agree. I totally agree. Okay, thank you so much for coming, Isabel. And
thank you. It was a
bye.
pleasure.
Thanks for listening, and see you in the next episode.